Hey guys, be honest with you, I'm about done with this opening, but I drew the art on the cover, and I wanted to introduce you guys to this new wrestling RPG by Axiom System Games that's coming out, and I was excited about it, and I would love to tell you guys I'm gonna have the lead game designer Zachariah Van Sliders join me, but I can hear the damn Clippers. So who knows what? Maybe it'll be Hulk Hogan coming out, or maybe we'll get a cute little bikini, and that'll be a treat for everyone. He could be What the hell?
Hi, I'm Zachariah Van Sliders, lead game designer here at Axiom Games LLC and creator of Upper Hand, an Axiom System Wrestling RPG.
What was with all the impressions?
I'm glad you asked, Phil, because man, I'm really excited to talk about this game with you and the people.
Why are you doing this to me?
You want to hear more, buddy? Well, I'm happy to tell you. Upper Hand is a fast-paced, card-based system that allows you to experience the quick, heart-pounding, moment-to-moment action of being in the squared circle. In addition to that, the game features an all-play system in which you get to play as both a specific wrestling character and game master others as a booker, so no one gets left out of the fun.
This is some straight...
When does it come out, you ask? August 6th, and you can get it through drive-thru games at drivethrurpg.com. There's a link below, but it's not a hyperlink.
Forget it. Forget this. Forget you.
Ugh. I think he's just mad he didn't get to do an impression. Hey, that's a pretty good John Moxley.
Time to get your fix. Come on down, get your horrible gaming review. 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 Wow.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and welcome to another horrible game review. This is a very complicated one today. Requires some extra disclaimers. We'll get into it. First, the word horrible in the title of this video does not necessarily refer to the game or DLC I am reviewing, but much more the content that you're watching itself. I do snap judgment reviews here, ladies and gentlemen, 5 to 10 hours tops. I'm trying to get a quick judgment of whether you're going to enjoy this for those people who are fathers or full-time people who only have a couple hours here and there to play. That, coupled with the fact that I think video games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I do not give scored reviews. I will tell you what the game is overall, then I will tell you the pros and the cons of the game, in my point of view, and then I will tell you whether I personally will be sticking with the game outside the purposes of this review. Now, my final disclaimer is going to be a little rambly, but I feel I have to make it. Anybody who has followed this channel for a really long time knows that I personally do not care for Hideo Kojima's games. Honestly, I don't really care for the public persona of the man in general. That being said, I would never willingly attempt to do a review of one of his games just because, the natural human bias. That being said, though, I have a hard, fast golden rule, and that is if somebody requests that I review a game, and they request this review, and I can acquire the game for free or am already going to acquire it, then I do the review, no matter what. Somebody requested that I review Death Stranding, so I did my best. I went through this game. I played the exact amount of time, actually 15 minutes longer than I had to, 5 hours and 15 minutes. I set a stopwatch just to make sure I wasn't cheesing anything. And on top of that, I am going to attempt to be objective in all things. I just want you to keep in mind that my opinion may be slightly biased, though I am going to do everything in my power to not make this bias. So with that said, let's get into this. Death Stranding. What is Death Stranding? It is nearly impossible to explain to you what Death Stranding is as far as the story is concerned, because it's Hideo Kojima. No, that's not objective. It is kind of lunatic bananas as far as everything that's going on in it. The best way I can describe it in the shortest amount of time would be Sentient zombie mailman delivers packages while also reconnecting the Internet of America during a ghost apocalypse. That's the best I could do. Basically, the entire world was influenced by a event known as the Death Stranding, and while there is no explanation, none, and I even watched some explanation videos to find out, there's no actual explanation of what caused the Death Stranding in the first place, or what really it is. It is in fact this thing that makes it that when people die, they go nuclear and explode and can take out a city. They also become these weird ghost creatures called BTs, which actually stands for beach things. Staying objective. And it also connected humans with this thing called the beach, which is the in-between between the afterlife and the real life. When this happened, though, all people within 48 hours who die, they go nuclear, so you have to burn them real quick. So it caused a lot of explosions. It caused a lot of problems. In addition to this, it also caused something called the time fall, which is basically rain, but rain that makes whatever it touch age rapidly, which this changes the very fabric of everything that is, out there. It makes it so that people can grow crops incredibly fast, but at the same time, the land shifts at an alarming rate. Any humans caught out in it age and die really fast. But apparently just normal raincoats are unaffected by the time fall. They never explain how they have raincoats that can stop it. I don't know, but even cargo and metals are affected by it, but somehow, raincoat, okay. You got a raincoat, you're safe. Because of this huge disconnect, basically what happens is you have these people who have this thing called dooms, which is a weird connection to the ghost apocalypse and the afterlife. They traverse America post this ghost apocalypse through the BTs, through the other things called mules, which we'll get to at some point, through the time fall to deliver packages from point A to point B, because there's no other way to do it. Drones that go out and it would just rust and explode, stuff like that. So that brings us to the crux of what you do. You play a character named Sam Porter Bridges, or Norman Reedus in all of his glory, his quiet, grunty glory. Objective. He basically runs around delivering packages from point A to point B. You will go to one place, you will acquire packages, and then you'll move to the next. However, it's not as simple as just walking from point A to point B. Basically what happens is the game has a very dynamic walking aspect to it. You can trip on small stones. Climbing over things is difficult. Also, the way you carry the cargo on your large backpack and your bodysuit actually shifts your weight and momentum, where you then have buttons where you can shift it back and forth. You have a stamina meter, and if you fall, your cargo takes damage. So literally, what you're doing here is you're walking from point A to point B. And I know right off the bat you're getting upset probably at this, but I'm not going to lie, this is the best part of the game without a doubt. We'll get into that in the pros and cons. But so you pick up packages and deliver packages from point A to point B. While you're doing this, you're trying to cross America at the same time, and you're trying to reconnect all of the places where people are hiding underground or whatever, so that you can form a cohesive society again. So you're that's driving the storyline while you're also driving your own plot. What's interesting about this too is they have this trail making mechanic, which if you walk a trail repeatedly, slowly a trail will start to form in the ground. Where it was once grassy and rocky, the rocks will get depressed, the grass will go away. You can actually create trails by re-traveling ground over and over again, which is actually really interesting and dynamic, and something that isn't seen in any other game. You also can craft these tools. You craft the tools with this thing called chiral energy, which basically is just ghost stuff, is the best way to describe it. It came with the ghost apocalypse, and now we get all sorts of crazy technology. But it allows you to craft things to get over things. You can make bridges to get over rivers, make ladders to climb up sides of mountains that you can't get through normally, make ropes to rappel down, all sorts of stuff like that. And as you continue through the plot, you slowly acquire more and more items that allows you to do more and more things, even build roads to travel from point A to point B. You also have a weird fetal baby strapped to your chest. I don't want to go into the story of the baby because because that's even more complex and weird. But basically, the baby allows you to sense when BTs are close, and it allows you to play this kind of weird hide and seek with them to get around them when you get in areas of heavy BT concentration. You'll also fight pirates. They're not really pirates. They're called mules, and they... Objective. They literally attack people because they are addicted to delivering packages. So they attack porters and mailmen to steal the packages, not for themselves, not to survive, but to then deliver them to the place they were supposed to be delivered to because they are addicted to the delivery high. Like I said, objective. In any case, that's the game. When you're actually playing the game, what's even more interesting about this is it gives you this connection to all these other players. Every time you load in, it loads you onto like a collection of other players' stuff. So you can actually find they've set up ladders and ropes for you here and there where they've already passed. If you're taking a route that they've taken similarly, that route gets like depressed faster. You can also get these little signs that they'll leave for like stamina boosts and stuff. It's very interesting in the way that it connects you to other people as well. I also thought this was a very dynamic and interesting, unique system. Of course, then there's the storyline. But we're going to get all to that in pros and cons. That's basically the game. It's like the walking simulator inside a very, very huge storyline. So we're going to go positive first. We're going to go to the pros first because we got to. We always do. First of all, this game, when it's just the gameplay, we'll get to the story stuff in the cons. When it's just the gameplay, it is glorious. I would compare it to Lawn Mowing Simulator or Power Wash Simulator, that sense of satisfaction from doing something very simple and menial and accomplishing that task. And it's just glorious. I loved when I actually got to play this game, just the walking from point A to point B. It also presents this very interesting and unique environmental puzzle every time, figuring out what the best path to the place is, how best to traverse the terrain, kind of scouting it out via the map and seeing where it's going to get rough, where it's not, and then of course having to adjust on the fly. I love that part of it. Absolutely, when you are playing, just the mailman delivery stuff is great. It's a great game, which is why I wish anybody else had made this game. Again, objective. We'll get to that in the cons. But again, the mailman simulation thing is incredibly cool. Which brings me to my next pro, which is the trail making. I've never seen a system like this in a game. I was actually speaking with the guy who forced me to do this review, and it was one of the things he wanted me to see, and I'm actually glad he did it just so that I could see it. I love the idea of the trail making, especially in a game like this, that if you go back and forth between a place, it becomes slowly easier, and you can see the weight of your actions in the environment every time you move from point A to point B, wherever point A or point B might be. I thought that was a really cool and interesting way to do this game, and it really gets into the walking from point A to point B. My third and final pro has got to be also the connectivity and the interestingness with other porters. I love the idea that, like, there was so many times where I was like, how do I get over this wall? And I didn't bring a ladder with me. How do I do this? And then I would think, you know what, maybe somebody else has done it. And I would kind of track around the wall and find a ladder that somebody had placed and climb up it. I thought that kind of stuff was very cool. It was very interesting. It gives you this weird connection without being connected to other people. Okay, so I said that was my final pro. It's not going to be my final pro. I also want to mention the carrying mechanics in this. I love them. I absolutely love them. The walking from point A to point B. And I'm going to say right now, every other outlet that reviewed this game reviewed the actual gameplay very poorly in this game because of the walking simulator part. This is the walking simulator of walking simulators. If you have ever enjoyed a walking simulator, this game, for the gameplay fact, you have to play it. It's absolutely awesome. You just get to the carrying mechanics and how it makes you feel each step. Every walking simulator I've ever played, such as Fire Patrol or whatever that was, and a couple of others, Gone Home, the walking isn't entertaining. You're going from point A to point B to collect story to see the story. That's what it is. It's kind of more like an interactive story. This actually simulates walking. You actually the environment is the challenge, and I absolutely love that about this game. Just the way you're walking. Plus, you have to really consider how many tools you take out because it takes up cargo space. So if you want to find a bunch of cargo on the way, you can't take a ton of tools. But then you risk the problem of not having all the tools. And if you have too much cargo and tools on when you get attacked by mules, then it's incredibly hard to fight without damaging them. I loved the actual gameplay of this, and that's why it's sad that we have to go into the cons. But we do. We have to go into the cons. I'm going to give you guys a breakdown. And this is an approximation. I was not giving exact timestamps for this. But in the first 2 hours of gameplay, I played this game for 15 minutes. What I mean is, the game opens with a 20-minute cutscene. I then got to play for 5 minutes, not even. I'm giving that a rough estimate, in a small tutorials part, to go into another 20-minute cutscene, to then play for about 10-15 minutes of walking from point A to point B, to then be trapped in a 40-minute cutscene. In my first 2 hours of play, I played maybe 15 minutes of actual gameplay. That's insane. And this is the heart of the problem with a Kojima game, is that this game is genius when you're playing the game itself, but it is weighed down by one man's need for you to think he is a genius in all things. The story is incomprehensible on many different notes, and I'm going to tell you guys, again, because I was doing this review, I went above and beyond. I watched 4 different videos on lore, on story recap, on all of that stuff, because I wanted to try and understand. Maybe I was wrong about this, but it has never been more evident the things that I don't like about Kojima than in this game. He takes something really, really awesome in its core, and he adds so much ridiculous idiocy on top of it that you miss out on the cool stuff that's in the game. In 5 hours of play, I played maybe 2 full hours of actual gameplay. And that was something that really, really bothered me, especially when I actually enjoyed the gameplay. It's just very frustrating. I do want to give another couple of negatives on the actual gameplay of it. Number one, there is, whenever he brings up a tutorial thing, whenever you learn something new, it is this huge box that takes up 20 to 25% of the screen. It's slightly translucent, but it just takes it up, and it just sits there for like 5 full minutes. I got it. I know. Press A to jump. Get it. Let's move on with our lives. And that, I found that really irritating, especially when there were key moments where I couldn't see where I needed to see because of these things. It was just very frustrating. So I gotta give that a shout out. I also want to say my other con is the realism of some things, and I'm not talking about the insane plot. I think I've mentioned that enough. What I'm talking about is Monster Energy Drink is the only energy drink that survived the apocalypse. It somehow continues to survive the ghost apocalypse, and it's so powerful that if you fill your canteen with water, it turns it into Monster Energy Drink. Look, I don't mind having some product placement to make sense, to make some extra money, but this is ridiculous. It's very noticeable in this game. There's also all these insane nods and winks to the camera from Norman Reedus, and also you see that guy naked so much in this game, it's ridiculous. You literally have to take a shower, pee, or poop to create weapons to fight the BTs when you absolutely have to fight them. That's nuts, lunatic bananas. But I don't want to see that much in Norman Reedus. I just don't. I do want to give one postscript pro that I may have forgotten, and that is BB the baby. The creepiest part of the game, by far, is the baby strapped to your chest, and I was really unnerved when that even began. Even the story around the BB is rough. Basically, they take women who have died during childbirth, gone brain dead, but haven't actually lost the child. They take the kid out, and then they put the kid in these canisters, and that's how, because they're in between life and death, they can detect the BTs. It's super tragic. They treat them as tools. They just burn them when they're done. I am a kid lover, so I can't stand this part of it. However, that being said, BB itself is incredibly cute and fun. It gives you little, you have to soothe it every so often. It gives you a thumbs up, or it blows little heart bubbles in its weird little yellow womb stuff. And I don't know what it is, but it's cute and it's enjoyable, and I like that part of it. All right. So I think I got to wrap this up. I think I've gone over every part of this that I can. This was very hard for me. I hope I stayed as objective as humanly possible, because I have serious problems with Kojima, ego-wise, but I don't want to bring that into this. I want to stay as objective as possible, but I do want to say, if you like this game, play it. Games are subjective. They're for fun. If you like Hideo Kojima, play his games. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not for me. And as far as whether I'm going to stick with it, no, I'm not. It's just too much storyline. If this had been designed by any other person or any other company, and it was just the mailman part, the walking part, I would be probably all in and play it for a long time. But unfortunately, as with most Kojima games, this is a game that is, at its core, a brilliant idea that is weighed down and dragged to the bottom of a dirty river by one man's continual obsession with making everybody who hears his name think he is a genius, whether he is or not. So no, I will not be playing it anymore. That is my review of Death Stranding. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I am going to take 1 week off from the reviews because I feel I mentally need it. And hopefully I did this justice. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Comment below. Let me know. You can contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, until next time, you keep watching, you keep listening. I'll keep making it.